It's science story time. Today we're going to read a fictional text called Perfect Acorn, Mighty Oak, and it is a story about a smart squirrel and his family. Perfect Acorn, Mighty Oak. At 6 years old, Gray was old in squirrel years. The tree that he lived in is old too. Its limbs were bent and twisted. Its bark began to flake. Many branches had only a few leaves. It was not a good home for Gray or his family much longer. Gray decided a few years ago that it was time to make a new home for his growing family. He was determined to search for the perfect acorn. Acorn Acorns are oak tree seeds. He hoped that if he planted the acorn that fall, he would live to see it grow. Then his relatives would have a strong young tree to call home. Gray prepared for his search. One day his grandson, Scamper, came for a visit. Gray explained what he was doing. "Grandpa Gray, can I help?" asked Scamper excitedly. Gray smiled. His gray son had a sharp eye and a desire to please. "Sure," Gray replied. "Let me tell you what I'm searching for." Gray had learned a lot about acorns over the years. He told Scamper that the best acorns are smooth and hard with tight caps. Gray also knew that acorns take a long time to grow into oaks. "We must work quickly," he explained to Scamper. Gray and Scamper searched for several days. They examined mounds of acorns. Finally, one day, Scamper proudly presented Grandpa with the perfect acorn. It was smooth, hard, and brown. They quickly buried the acorn and waited for rain and sunshine to help it grow. One day, Gray noticed a short stem sticking up through the dirt. The stem was soft. Three very small leaves grew from it. Gray could not believe his eyes. The new tree was finally growing. As the seasons passed, the tree continued to grow. The soft stem became hard. The tree grew taller. New branches grew and more leaves appeared. Even when strong winds blew, the little tree stood still. The perfect tree had grown from the perfect acorn. Gray's family continued to grow too. He had more grandchildren than he could count. The old tree was crowded with nests. The new tree could not grow fast enough. It has been 2 years since Gray and Scamper buried the acorn. From his perch on the highest branch of the oak tree, Gray can see that the new tree had grown taller. It will be big enough to be a home in a few more years. Gray gathers his family around the old tree. He sees that acorns cover the ground around it. Gray picks one up and looks at it closely. It is smooth and hard, just like the one that grew the new tree. Gray smiles. "I have grown a mighty oak that is just right for my family," he thinks happily. That was the text, Perfect Acorn, Mighty Oak. Now, go to your portfolios section in Class Dojo and answer the question.